Hello, and welcome back to Fem Life. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. 2 lucky winners get to spend 1 hour on video chat with me. Just like any other day, I found myself in my room, surrounded by heaps of clothes and makeup. My laptop displayed numerous tabs of crossdressing forums and videos, completely engrossing me in my own little world. Unbeknownst to me, my stepdad, who had recently married my mom, had started to grow suspicious of my vanishing outfits and my sudden fascination with everything feminine. It happened once before, a few months ago, when he caught me crossdressing. Surprisingly, instead of reacting with anger or shouting, he chose to have a heartfelt conversation with me. He assured me that he understood and recognized that it wasn't something I could easily give up. As long as I kept it a secret from the rest of the family, he promised not to say a word. However, now I can't help but notice a change in his behavior. The way he looks at me, the excuses he finds to enter my room. I can sense the tension growing. Little did I realize at that moment, but my entire existence was on the verge of a profound transformation. While mindlessly browsing through my social media timeline, engrossed in a sea of self-portraits and beauty tips, a faint sound of a door creaking caught my attention. My heart skipped a beat as I recognized the figure entering the room, my stepfather. His face betrayed no emotion as he approached me, his voice filled with gravity. "There's something I've been meaning to discuss with you," he began, his tone hushed and serious. "I believe it's crucial that we have a face-to-face conversation about it." I took a deep breath, a wave of anxiety and unease washing over me. "Sure," I replied, attempting to sound composed. He motioned for me to come with him, and I hesitantly got up, feeling as though I was frozen in place. Walking from my room to the living room, I couldn't shake the feeling that he was ready to strike at any second. He settled onto the sofa and gestured for me to take a seat beside him. Following his instruction, I complied, feeling an overwhelming sense of vulnerability and exposure. "I've been pondering this deeply," he started, "and I've reached the conclusion that you require additional structure in your life." My heart sank as I comprehended the direction this conversation was taking. "You're not a misbehaving child," he added, "but your recent actions have shown a lack of respect towards your mother and me. And I won't tolerate that." I anticipated what would happen next. I sensed it deep within me. "So," he whispered, moving closer, "from now on, you're going to be under my control. You'll follow my every command, whenever I give it. And if you dare to defy me, well, let's just say there will be repercussions." My heart pounded as I struggled to comprehend his words. Was this some kind of cruel joke? A twisted form of punishment? Or perhaps a combination of both? I attempted to speak up, to reason with him, but he cut me off by placing a strong hand on my shoulder. "And the first task," he declared with a menacing smile, "is to wear this outfit." As he delved into his pocket, he retrieved a set of black lacy panties and a delicate white bra. A mix of embarrassment and fury caused my cheeks to redden. "I refuse to wear those," I stammered, my voice barely audible. "You can't force me." Yet, deep down, I realized my defiance was futile. He had taken charge, and there was no turning back. As I glanced at my stepdad, a chilling smile appeared on his face, filled with a calculated demeanor. "Oh, rest assured, I am capable," he uttered in a low and menacing tone. "Now, why don't you change into these?" He dangled the panties and bra in front of me, swaying them back and forth as if they possessed a dangerous power. I had the sensation of being trapped in a horrifying dream, completely paralyzed and unable to utter a word or take any action except to comply. Gradually, I unfastened the buttons on my jeans and smoothly slid them down my legs. I removed my sneakers, uncovering my fair, hairy legs. Then, I untucked my shirt from my skirt and pulled it off over my head. I stood in front of him, completely naked and vulnerable, with my heart racing in my chest. My stepfather's gaze swept over my body, his eyes fixating on my chest, hips, and legs. "Impressive," he whispered, "for a young man." The word boy echoed in the space between us, a stark symbol of the transformation that had occurred. He handed me the panties and bra, presenting them to me as if they were a gift. I accepted them, sensing the delicate, feminine material against my skin. As I nervously held the panties, I carefully pulled them up my legs and adjusted them around my hips. Next, I gently placed the bra over my head and secured it behind my back. The cool touch of the lace against my skin provided a refreshing sensation, in stark contrast to the warmth that flushed my face. Staring at my reflection in the mirror, I couldn't help but feel astonished. The person looking back at me seemed like a completely different individual, not me at all. My stepfather's voice broke the silence. "Now, it's time for your first assignment." He retrieved a list from his pocket and passed it to me. As I skimmed through the meticulously written tasks, my heart sank even deeper. The list consisted of household chores like cleaning, cooking, and doing laundry, responsibilities that I had never been entrusted with before. "You have until tomorrow night to finish all of these," he stated firmly. "And if you fail to do so, well, let's just say there will be repercussions." My heart sank as his words sank in, leaving a heavy burden on my chest. This was the path I had chosen, my new life, my new reality. There was no turning back now. As I reluctantly held the list, I started scanning through the tasks with a sense of heaviness. Tidying up the house, preparing dinner, doing the laundry, chores that I had never really paid attention to in the past. However, with my stepdad's words still ringing in my mind, they suddenly appeared overwhelming. Throughout the day, I noticed that I was growing more and more anxious about each task. Whenever I checked the time, a wave of panic washed over me. I attempted to reassure myself that I could seek assistance if needed, that my stepfather wasn't the sole individual capable of completing these tasks. However, the fear of facing his anger felt like a heavy burden weighing me down every time I considered asking for help. When the sun started to go down and the house became dim, I realized it was time to get going. I inhaled deeply and started working on the first task, tidying up the living room. I went through the room systematically, dusting the shelves, vacuuming the carpet, and wiping the furniture. Throughout the process, I sensed my stepfather's eyes fixed on me, observing my every action. Throughout the night, as the challenges became increasingly difficult, I noticed my energy fading away. My body was sore, my head was throbbing, and I could barely keep my eyes open. Despite feeling drained, I knew I had to keep going. I had to persevere if I wanted to steer clear of any potential repercussions from my stepfather. At last, as the clock neared midnight, I wrapped up the final task on my agenda. Exhausted, I flopped onto my bed feeling drained and overwhelmed. It was hard to believe I had accomplished it all. Despite patting myself on the back for a job well done, I couldn't ignore the nagging thought that this was just the start. Tomorrow would bring more responsibilities. And the day after that. And the day after that. As I fell asleep, I noticed the lace of my new bra pressing against my skin. It served as a reminder of all the changes that had taken place. It made me reflect on who I used to be and who I had become. I couldn't help but question if this was truly my reality. I wondered if I would ever break free from the manipulative game my stepfather was playing.